Grace and peace. Welcome to Judah's Roar Domestic Violence Awareness Initiative YouTube channel. I'm your host, Apostle Cheryl. Our mission here at Judah's Roar is to ignite hearts, inspire minds, and safeguard destinies. We're committed to crying aloud and sparing not. We are committed to speaking truth to power. And frankly, we are committed to leaving folks without an excuse for complacency or inaction, whether it be the abuser, loved ones of a victim, or the victim themselves. So we believe that education is key. Now, what does roar mean? Roar means to make a loud, deep cry or howl, as in excitement, distress, or anger. To make a loud noise or din, as like with thunder, a cannon, waves, or the wind. So we're committed to crying loud and sparing not. We're committed to making a loud noise and roaring about the negative impact of domestic violence on our families and on our communities and on our congregations. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us on today. Today's topic is, did God send the abuser into my life? Did God send the abuser into my life? Before we get started, I'm going to give you a couple of seconds. Check down here below the video. Click that bell for notifications after you click the subscribe button, okay? Be sure to share this video even as you're watching, and we'll get started in just a second. Oftentimes, victims and survivors of domestic violence have embarked on relationships and even remained in them despite numerous red flags being displayed early in the relationship. And this has been due to the belief that the abuser was sent by God or by whatever higher power they ascribe to. They believe that connecting with this individual is an answer to prayer or the result of divine intervention. Sounds very deep and mystical, right? Very spiritual. And it's even romantic, right? To think that God sent this specific person to you. We're going to take a closer look at this today as it pertains to relationships that morph into abusive, toxic relationships, okay? Now, why would an individual believe this about a person who has been abusing them? This belief may be due to the fact that someone that they respect and admire or are submitted to, a pastor, a confidant, a parent, a bishop, an apostle, a prophet, a teacher, evangelist, someone who has been able to speak into their life, someone who has maybe provided them guidance in the past, a mentor, may have said to them that this particular individual is your partner. God told me, or God has revealed to me, that this person was sent to you. That is your partner. That's your life partner. That is your husband. That is your wife. Okay? So one reason that the victim entertains this could be that they're told this by someone that they are submitted to and who they admire and trust and respect. Or it could be that the victim has in their own life and in their own prayer time, they've been asking God for a partner, a life partner. And they believe that God is going to respond to their prayer, right? Or it could be that the abuser presents as an angel of light and makes a declaration that I am your partner. God told me that you are my husband, or God told me that you are my wife. So often, someone that they love and respect and admire and are submitted to has made this statement. They have been praying about this themselves, and they believe that this is an answer to prayer. Or the abuser posts up and declares, I am your husband, I am your wife, and God has said that this is so. However, this thought process is introduced, it presupposes that since the relationship is God's will, allegedly, whatever occurs in the relationship must be endured, that the victim is expected required even by God to endure maltreatment if in fact they believe that God orchestrated this relationship or that they are in God's will in embarking or remaining in this relationship. Now, as a side note, what we tell ourselves, what we tell ourselves about any relationship that we embark upon or we engage in um, determines how we navigate its difficulties and its twists and turns. Okay, our expectations, our boundaries, or lack of them, will most definitely impact how we navigate this relationship. And it will also dictate to us what we believe our options are for helping us to navigate it. Whether it's okay to leave the relationship, whether we're required to remain in the relationship. Okay. And so this is all determined at the outset, often on a very subconscious level. Okay. So for those of you who are trying to determine if the establishing of your abusive relationship is the result of divine intervention or demonic interference, I want to share something that has helped me to focus my thinking whenever I've had to make a very important decision. Um, Ask yourself this: what is the evidence? Where is the evidence that supports option A, remaining in the relationship? Where is the evidence that supports option B, exiting the relationship? And literally make a list. Where's the evidence? Where is the proof? Where's the proof? So that way you step outside of feelings and you're thinking from a practical standpoint. Where is the evidence to support my decision? Where is it? We're going to look at some scriptures today. One thing's for certain: if you believe that God has initiated your relationship, that your relationship is in God's will, it's important that we understand His character and what His Word says, right, regarding His plans for us and His desires for us. And so then anything that's contrary to that, we know is not of Him. Okay. First of all, Proverbs 10 and 22. One of my favorite passages, and I have many favorite passages, but this is one of my favorite passages, is the blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. The blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. In Malachi, the second chapter, verses 13 through 16, God is rebuking husbands at that time because only husbands had a right to divorce or to leave a relationship during these times. And he declares further in Matthew chapter 19, verses 1 through 8, that it comes from the hardness of the heart. Now, this does not mean the hardness of the heart of the victim. We're talking about the hardness of the heart of the abuser who refuses to change, the abuser who is convinced that they are right and that they have a right to mistreat their partner. In Malachi chapter 2, verse 16, God says, I hate divorce. And people will emphasize that, and even ministry leaders will refer to this passage of scripture, but not in its entirety. They will share that God said, I hate divorce. But they leave out where it says, and I hate a man's covering his garment or wife with violence. And so God hates divorce. He hates fragmented relationships. But he hates the thing that caused the relationship to fragment in the first place. And he's not happy with the vehicle by which that comes into a person's life. Proverbs 6 and 17 says that he hates hands that shed innocent blood. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 6. There are 6 things that the Lord hates, 7 that are detestable to him: haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that plots evil, feet that are quick to rush into evil, a person who stirs up conflict in the community. That sounds like an abuser to me. Okay? Isaiah 32:18 says, my people will abide in a peaceful habitation, in secure dwellings, and in quiet resting places. And Isaiah 54 admonishes us that we should have peace in the home, safety and righteousness are our inheritance as believers. Okay, and then Jeremiah 29:11 says, for I know the plans that I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And so any relationship that we're involved in that does not reflect the heart of God, that does not reflect his character and what he has stated concerning us in his word, is not orchestrated by him. That individual was not sent by him. Okay? Luke 17:1 says, things that cause people to stumble are bound to come, but woe to anyone through whom they come. It would be better for them to be thrown into the sea with a millstone tied around their neck than to cause one of these little ones to stumble. So watch yourselves. Malachi 2, starting at verse 13. This is the Amplified Version. This is another thing you do. You cover the altar of the Lord with tears, with your own tears, weeping and sighing because the Lord no longer regards your offering or accepts it with favor from your hand. But you say, why does he reject it? Because the Lord has been a witness between you and the wife of your youth, against whom ye have dealt treacherously. Verse 15 says, but not one has done so who has a remnant of the Spirit. So listen, beloved, listen. It matters not what title, it matters not how many churches, it matters not how many degrees they have, how theologically, skilled they are. It doesn't matter. The word here says in Malachi 2:15, but not one has done so who has a remnant of the Spirit. And so what is the word saying? That if you are mistreating your partner, if you are being abusive, if you are creating a toxic environment, if you are causing them to stumble, there's no remnant of the Spirit in you. You don't belong to him. He didn't send you, okay? That person was not sent by God. Was not. And there's no remnant of the Spirit in him. That's what the word says. That an abuser, someone who is abusing and destroying and making evil plots and shedding innocent blood and crushing the spirit of their partner, does not have a remnant of the Spirit of God in them. No matter how many people they have helped in the community, no matter how much they give to charity, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. As a reminder, here are the two questions that I'd like for you to entertain in order to challenge your thinking, especially if you're trying to determine if God sent an abusive partner into your life, if this was divinely orchestrated. What have we been talking about? We've been examining the question, did God send the abuser into my life? Did God orchestrate this toxic, dangerous relationship? And I've encouraged you to use something that has helped me tremendously throughout my life, and that is to challenge your thinking and to ask yourself these two questions. Where is the evidence to support my remaining in this relationship? And where is the evidence to support that I should leave it? And if you consider the scriptures that have been shared here with you today, it will help you to arrive at a sound decision regarding, did God send this person into my life? Did God send this person into my life? Remember now, Jeremiah 29:11 says that he knows the plans that he has for us, plans to prosper us, right? And to give us an expected And then we know that every good and perfect gift comes from the Lord, and we know that Proverbs declares that the blessing of the Lord maketh rich, and he adds no sorrow with it. So if you're in a relationship and you're experiencing sorrow and heartbreak, and defeat and abuse or neglect, God didn't do that. And someone who is treating you that way, the Bible says, has no remnant of the Spirit in him.